Okay, so today we're going to talk about starting off your new character in Albion Online. This is not the most optimal thing in the world, but this is like what you want to do if all you want to do is come in and kill people. The contents of this video are about an hour, but the video itself is only like 15-ish minutes long. Everything is going to be sped up for the vast majority of the video, so feel free to go back and forth and watch the bits that you want to watch. A lot of it is me killing things. So with that, let's go ahead and just get kicked right off. This here is Sam. Sam is a scumbag. Sam only wants to play Albion Online to go out into yellow and kill random noobs who are doing other things other than defending themselves. Sam is a scumbag. So, Sam is a brand new character, and he's off to begin his adventure to do so. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off here and watch, and I'm going to give some background information as we go. Sam only has the stuff that you need, or that you get for getting the lowest starter pack that you can buy right now. So immediately out of the gate, we're going to come in here and I'm going to reset my settings so that I can actually see what the tutorial has to offer. Basically, you just want to do this tutorial no matter what, just to get it out of the way. The game kind of prevents you from going anywhere if you don't do this to some degree. I highly recommend doing it, mainly because fame and you get stuff. So why not? Those are great things. So here I am, finishing it up, hitting the dummy, and now we're off to leave. Now, here we're going to talk about if you are in my guild. In my guild, we typically tell you to come here, trash your shit, and then go hop on the boat and come to the city that we live in. The reason why we tell you to trash your stuff is, as you can see here, it's free to do so. Sam, however, likes the woods, so he's going to live in Limhurst. If you're not like Sam and you want to do crafting and stuff, I recommend that you stay here until you can craft tier 3 stuff, because tier 3 stuff is free here, and do all the missions like you saw Sam start to do earlier. But Sam doesn't like that, so he's going to come out here and he's going to kill himself by typing /suicide in chat and going to the nearest city. This took him all the way to Limhurst. It just saves you some walking time. So now, your first order of business is money. Because of the fact that Sam doesn't care about gold, he cares about killing things, he's going to come in here and decide what he wants to build, and he's going to sell all of his gold so that he can afford it. You saw him looking through his destiny board. That is him trying to decide what he wants to do, and at first he starts off thinking he's going to do X. So he's going to come in and start buying things that he needs. So he's going to start off with soldier's armor and leather armor, or mercenary's jacket, I think it's called. Basically, the reason why you start off with both of these is because the first tier, so tier 2 of any piece of armor, you always have to wear the chest piece before you get to tier 3. After that, things start to get a little bit more specific into what you're training. Sam is going to go ahead and go through here, and he's going to buy everything that he needs up to tier 3. This way, he doesn't have to come back and use any time going back and forth from the market. So he bought a broadsword and his 2 types of armor, because you have to use the broadsword to get the axes, and you have to use the 2 types of armor to get to the 2 types of armor that he wants to use. Once he has that, he's not even going to worry about his clothes. He is more than equipped, and he's going to head out into the wilderness and he's going to kill things. So as far as how you do this, basically it's easy. You just walk around and you kill things. You're looking to get fame to progress yourself. For now, you just go until it tells you that you get it. Make sure you heal in between fights, because why not? You know, you're not in that big of a rush. This thing only takes an hour, so it's not that big of a deal. Heal up, keep fighting. The other way that you can do this is if you have friends who are already in the game in a higher level. We'll hit on expeditions in greater detail later on as this progresses, but for now we just want to talk about, I just want you to know that you can completely skip this altogether if you have a friend who is capable of helping you get into some dungeons that you shouldn't necessarily be in. But if you do that, I would highly recommend that you make sure that your mechanics are on point. You got to make sure that you stay out of AoEs. As for this content, basically you shouldn't ever die doing this because these are really easy mobs. Basically, the trick comes down to this: if there's a red shape on the ground, don't stand in it. This game, more than anything else, is about not taking damage. That's how you win pretty much everything in this game, is by taking less damage. There are some things that you can't avoid, like most auto attacks are relatively unavoidable without slows or protection or anything like that. But AoEs are the big thing. Avoid AoEs, they all hurt. Now right there, I had a change of heart with Sam and decided that Sam wanted to go a different route. He decided he wanted to do daggers. So Sam went back to town and ended up getting daggers just to prove a point. These are all the same stats and things before I left. Here's all the old crap I was wearing. The only thing that changed is I grabbed a bow and I replaced, I'm not going to use my axe, I'm going to use the dagger and the torch instead. But everything else is the same. Got the rest of my gear here, leather boots, mercenary jacket, good to go. This is what I plan on using now. So here we go. Everything continuing on. Sam goes back into the dungeons and he goes back to killing things. Don't worry if you come into these things and you see that they're empty. Just leave and keep looking around. Honestly, you could probably just hang out outside and you'll get this with no struggle at all. At this point, it's just patience. This is honestly probably the longest part of the whole process, is getting from tier 2 to tier 3. And you need tier 3 so that you can get into expeditions. But the good news is everything keeping you out of expeditions pretty much goes away. And there they are right there. So right now we just got into tier 3 leather, so we're going to switch and we're going to put on our leather boots because why not? And then we're going to put on our tier 2 plate. The reason why is because we want to be able to use that plate helmet in our kit. Highly recommend that you vary up your kits when you need to. You don't necessarily need to all be wearing all of the same type of armor. You know, you don't have to be wearing all leather to be a hunter. Wear some plate, wear some cloth. Variety is good in this game. So we're going to wear our plate and we're going to keep going. We're going to do it basically all over again. Keep killing things until we can wear tier 3 plate. Keeping that health up. A good piece of information for when you're killing these things is understanding your target priority. Right now it may not matter so much, but as you go up into the harder bits of content in this game, understanding the things that need to die first is really important. For the vast majority of things, it's typically the thing with the least amount of health just because of the fact that it gets DPS off the table. There are very few exceptions, which are if there's like a couple of things that have really crippling debuffs that we recommend you getting rid of quickly. So Sam just upgraded to his dagger, so he's going to go ahead and start running it. He can't quite use the tier 3 plate yet, so he's still just killing these guys. You just want to do this until you get all tier 3, which he just got. So now he's going to put on his plate helmet. And he's going to switch back to the mercenary's jacket, tier 3. So now that he's got that all situated, he's going to figure out what he needs now. So now everything's going to get more specific. Your boots are going to train your boots, your chest is going to train your chest, and your helmet is going to train your helmet. So now you just want to make sure that you're wearing the thing that you care about using, and we're going to mount up and we're going to take off back out here and we're going to do expeditions now. You can find expeditions by looking. They're in every major city and some of them in the black zones. And pretty much you have to have an item power and a reaver level. So I'm too low of a reaver level, so I'm going to keep doing the solo one. The only benefit to doing expeditions against doing open world stuff is you don't have to compete with anybody. everything in here is yours to kill. So it's basically a calculatable amount of fame that you can get every time you run this. Um, if you die in here, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. You don't really lose anything. If you die repeatedly in here, it's just a waste of your time. But like I said, you really shouldn't have a problem with it so long as you stay out of AoEs. This first run, I do it really carefully to show you how you should do it if you have no idea what you're doing. You know, just taking things really slow and just making sure that you kill it, heal up, don't be afraid to wait. You're not in that much of a rush. But uh, later on, the second time I do this dungeon, because you do have to do it more than once because you're grinding out to tier 4, and to do that you're gonna have to do this at least twice in order to get into the group dungeons, which are ultimately what you need in order to get these things very quickly. So this is me doing this very carefully, fighting like one thing at a time. But the second run, I come in and I just Leroy Jenkins all the way through this thing. Um, uh, so you can do it quickly. I just recommend that you know yourself. You know, don't pull half the room and expect to not die. Staying out of my AoEs, killed the boss, carrying on. Highly recommend that you, before you start this process, you know exactly what you want to do. Um, my firm belief is that you should probably focus on one thing until it's at least tier 5. I personally, my soft ceiling is tier 6 for gear. I will typically focus it until it's tier 6, and then if there's something else interesting that I found, I'll go and I'll do it instead for a little while. But I'm a firm believer that being tier 6 in something is enough to safely say that you're competent with it, and its stats are not too horribly low. You know, there's still people out there who are higher than you, but you're good enough for most scenarios. Um, but this is the goal of this video is tier 4, which is the very bottom floor of PvP. You're probably gonna lose a lot of fights still, because you're only tier 4, but it's that entry level barrier to PvP because it's affordable and the stats are good enough to win fights with. Um, like I said, there are going to be some people out there who are going to beat you, and I just messed that up because I cloaked. Be careful about wearing invisibilities on your kit because they make the mobs that you're fighting heal. And I died because of that. But I killed him. Lol. Okay, so here I am checking my Destiny board to see if there's anything else. Checking to see if I can do the next tier, and I can't, so I'm just going to go do this again. Like I said, you're going to have to do this twice. It's okay. A whole lot of this dungeon got skipped, but basically you just run the dungeon again. Alright, there you go. So Sam's boots just got to where they need to be. We're trying to get everything to the point of where Sam's boots are. Just because we can, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use what's called learning points. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pause this here in just a second. You know how many learning points you have because of this number right here. Learning points are generated at 20 points a day for premium users. Basically what learning points do is they let you, for anything tier 4 or higher that is not farming, you can, upon getting 30% of the fame needed for a level, you can spend learning points to automatically learn it, which is what Sam's about to do right here for his boots. And you do this by clicking on the tier 4 node, and you'll see it's lit up. Here's the point that you have to get to, and here's how many learning points it costs. And Sam's going to go ahead and learn that because why not? This is his goal. He wants tier 4, and boom, he just met his goal for his boots. This is your goal, to get all of your equipment like that. Now, as far as fame, he can now do expeditions, and he knows that he's getting close to tier 4. So what he's going to do is going to go and he's going to buy all this tier 4 stuff, because he knows that more likely than not, he's going to get enough fame during this dungeon. So he's going to go ahead and just buy everything just so that he has it on him. And there you have it. That's what he wants his kit to be. He's going to go ahead and put on the boots, because why not? And then he's going to throw all this other stuff in his bank, because he doesn't need to carry all that. Run him back, and we're going to do tier 4 expedition. You can see now he has both the fame and the reaver level for it. Going to sit here and dance. Because these are for a group of players, it looks for 5 players, there is a queue time for it. So you do have to wait for a little bit, and we fast forward through this, thank God. But you get significantly more fame than you do from the solo dungeons. Poor guy, didn't understand what he was saying. Alright, so you channel in, and here we go. Changed all my stuff. I took all my heals off because now I have a healer, so it's not that important. We're just going to run through this. It's the same concept. It's always the same concept. Don't worry about too much. Just stay out of AoEs and you'll be okay. And then here shortly he will level up into his tier 4 stuff. Or he will have enough fame to level up into his tier 4 stuff. At this point right here, this is, in my opinion, the bottom floor for PvP. He has tier 4 weapons and tier 4 armor. The reason why is because at this point you can start wearing things like tier 4 point whatever, 1, 2, or 3. This is enchanted stuff, which are the equivalent of 5, 6, and 7. Obviously they get more expensive, but the fact is that you can wear them, which means that you can increase your DPS at will. So there you go. That's what it takes. This is, in my opinion, this is how I spend the first hour or so of my character's life, just because of the fact that I'm not a crafter. This guide is not recommended for crafters. It's mainly for when you want to get out there and you want to kill stuff. This is the fastest way that I've found to just get out there and start killing things. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me in any way, whether it be comment, message me on Discord, whatever. I'll do my best. But yeah.